Tonight on the Chillstream, I will introduce you to the dishwasher who makes the chips that mine Bitcoin and who is currently worth $82 billion. Robert Breedlove, who I smacked around last week, steps up and uses the G word. All of that and so much more coming back in 2 minutes. And we are back. It is, what is today? Monday, April 29th or something like that. What is it? April 29th? And, we are about to enter the merry month of May. So, there isn't a whole lot, there's not a whole lot going on right now. It's springtime. Everybody wants to be sort of out of doors and be happy. They don't want to think about serious stuff. But there's always some things to discuss. There's always some things going on, and you can't ignore this stuff entirely. But things are overall, they're looking pretty good for us. For us, things are looking good. For other people, I don't know, not so much. I'm surprised more and more about people, the fucking Trump people. Trump is like, they're going to try and reboot this guy. You know what I mean? I'm seeing more and more stories about this, and I'm like, well, what a fucking ridiculous narrative. And, I'm just trying to understand, like, what's going through their fucking head? Like, what is the plan? Is the plan to let Trump beat Biden and then do what? Like, promise that he's going to fix the economy? I just saw this story, right? Trump advisors are considering plans to dramatically revamp the Fed. So obviously their polling data shows that people have a whole lot of economic concerns, and they're blaming the U.S. Federal Reserve. And they're gonna spin some narrative where Donald Trump, he fires Jerome Powell or something like that, and he gets the Fed in line and uses that to fix the economy. But I will remind you, and this was from 4 years ago, the young kid who understands that it's all bullshit, who owns the central banks.
I find it absolutely hilarious when people are like, Trump versus Biden or this person versus, I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're not the people who make the decisions anyways.
Yeah.
It's the people who control the money.
Yeah.
And the people who control the money are the central banks.
Yeah.
And guess who owns the central banks? Because it's not the government.
Because it's not the government. So yeah, Trump's not going to do anything about the Fed. I don't know. They're going to try and spin this up. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. They're going to drop that shit real fast. But I think I showed a video of this dude last week. There was somebody who, this is the problem with people who sort of halfway get it. There was the guy who literally lit himself on fire in front of Trump's headquarters as a I don't know, a fucking protest. This is a seriously mentally ill dude. I think I showed the full video. This is a clip of him, but you know, it's entirely possible to be this fucking close to the truth and miss it, even for somebody who's emotionally disturbed, even for someone who is mentally ill. Virgil Doc, Purple Heart, welcome to the show, sir. So just to remind you, I can't remember what's this guy's name. It's going to show up on the screen. It's going to show up on the screen in a moment. But yeah, it's unfortunate that somebody who was this close to kind of figuring it out went and found a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Pay attention and listen, because Max Azzarello left a hidden message about crypto before lighting himself on fire in the middle of Manhattan.
Hey, want to learn the biggest secret in the world? In March 2023, sketchy billionaire Peter Thiel started a bank run. I did 1,500 hours of research, and I learned all their rotten secrets. The big one is that cryptocurrency is history's first planetary, multi-trillion-dollar Ponzi scheme. That's an economic doom.
Okay, well, here's where he's wrong. The U.S. dollar, the Federal Reserve, is the world's first planetary Ponzi scheme, right? The global reserve currency is the U.S. dollar, currently the Federal Reserve note, and that is a Ponzi scheme, right? That's the Ponzi scheme. So crypto as the global whatever. Listen, crypto is going to be like the third fucking, it's third in line for global Ponzi. This is something that don't get me wrong, they're working on. Where's my they're fucking working on this shit. This was one of my favorite stories, because when I tell you we're gonna destroy this current world, I'm not joking. I'm not exaggerating. What Bitcoin does and the way it does it is so fucking unstoppable that everyone and everything has to fucking try to compete against Bitcoin, and you will not. These corrupt, parasitical systems simply cannot compete with a non-corruptible system, which is simply offering value to those willing to work for it. This story from where was it? April 22nd. New York Stock Exchange considers 24-hour trading model in response to crypto market trends. Yeah, that means Bitcoin. So, the New York Stock Exchange is going to try to run 24/7. I don't know how they're going to run their pump and dumps, without running out the clock, because they need to trade the pre-market and the aftermarket in order to gain advantages these days, with the internet and the speed at which market news moves. So how do they maintain their advantage if they got to run 24/7? I don't know how much fucking cocaine it's going to fucking take, but it will, I suspect, take quite a bit. It will take an enormous amount, and they will absolutely fuck it up. However, even people who I don't think do cocaine are losing. They're demented in terms of their paranoia, right? This is the guy, Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, triples his spending on security. So, and this is because their little golems, the environmentalist lunatics, the fucking flat Earth fucking people who sit on their smartphones and complain about technology, right? Larry Fink tripled his security spending due to ESG backlash. So a bunch of these wannabe hippie types. There used to be a terrorist movement called Earth First. They're probably a remnant of that is probably still around, and they're probably threatening to kill Larry Fink. And Larry Fink like, oh, I need more bodyguards. I need more bodyguards. So he's just gonna have a fucking army of people to try and keep him safe from those whom he has bamboozled, whom he has swindled. Speaking of swindlers, the CIA's favorite swindler is going to jail. This is the one and only Changpeng Zhao, CZ from CZ Binance. Changpeng Zhao. Look at this story and read it carefully. Binance founder faces possible 3-year jail term over a Wild West business model. So Sam Bankman-Fried, remember, he's doing 25 years. Changpeng Zhao maybe gets 3, which means they might give him 1. You know what I mean? And he'll be out in 8 months, and he'll get to keep all his money. But and believe me when I tell you that CZ Binance and fucking FTX were mixed up together like nobody's fucking business. One of the FTX shitcoins, the FTX token, I don't know, FTT token or whatever the fuck they called it, Binance bought, I want to say like $250 million of it, and right before FTX went under, they dumped all of that FTT token, which was, again, Sam Bankman-Fried's personal shitcoin. They dumped it, and then this is before the arrest and stuff. But Bankman-Fried was blaming CZ for this. So it is my contention that Binance was, and maybe still is, essentially the crypto bank for the CIA, and CZ was their guy. But they can't put him in jail for 25 years because he'll sing like a bird, like a Chinese bird. I don't know what Chinese birds sing like, but he'll sing like a fucking bird. So they're like, listen, CZ, you get to keep all the fucking money. You go to Club Fed. He's going to go to Club Fed. He's not going to like fucking prison where people get shanked. That's not going to, he's going to go to a prison where there's like literally no fence. You know what I mean? And there are prisons like that in America where it's like a campus. You know what I mean? And you can get food delivered to the dorms because there's only 3 guards and they're not paying attention. There really are federal prisons like that. Club Fed really exists, and that's where he's going to go for 8 months, and then he can go off and go spend his money doing whatever he wants to do. In the meantime, things continue to crumble around the edges, and this is the kind of thing that Wall Street can't quite fix, but this is gonna happen to them, even if they go to the 24/7 business model, right? $10 billion bank shut down by U.S. regulators in first bank failure of 2024. So 10 billion, come on, it's not even that much money. 10 billion here, 10 billion there. I mean, pretty soon you're talking about real money. Some bank in Philadelphia that's gone under 10 billion, they're just going to absorb that loss. And where's the 10 billion going to come from?
We print it digitally, so.
And that's it. Whoever those depositors were, they'll just print another 10 billion, and it'll all be fine. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here. But there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff boiling underneath the surface that I think after the election, things are going to go seriously fucking sideways. And some things that you can't do without are just going to get worse and worse because the state will not stop. Here's our friends, the good old boys. You know the good old boys. The guys from Farm 2. I don't know what the channel's not really called Farm 2, but these are guys seriously talking about farming and the economics of farming and how there are problems there that are not only are they not going to go away, but they're going to get worse. It's 53 seconds of the boys surrounded by hay bales, the men from Farm Tube.
I was talking to Farm Credit. Most guys, they're using a $900 an acre cost of production around here.
Yep.
And a lot of people's costs are well above 700 anyway.
From lease rates that are coming up for renewal, the landowners are asking for numbers in the threes, which around us, I can't make that pencil. No. I'm not going to bank everything on hoping we're going to hit the best we've ever had. I've got to bank it, preferably if I could do it the way I'd want to bank our profit and loss on county average. Because that's the average for a reason. There's a reason why those county averages, and it's 119 to 122 on corn for us. When I'm saying 165, that would be growing way above average. And I used to say, well, guys with paid off ground and paid off equipment, that's the only way you can make money farming. Now guys in Illinois are having to borrow against their paid off farm ground and equipment because their property taxes eat up all their profit. Like they literally can't make a profit on paid off ground and equipment because their property taxes are now increasing so much. It's insane.
So the state is taking these guys are talking, these farm equipment costs fucking millions of dollars. So these guys bought the farm, literally. They bought the farm and the equipment and they paid it all off. And they still can't make a living because whatever they fucking, if they don't grow a bumper crop of 165 bushels of corn per acre, if they only do the average of 115 bushels per acre, they don't make enough. And the state takes all their fucking money. The state takes all their fucking money. So what does this mean for you? It means you're going to pay a lot more for fucking food. You're going to pay a lot more for food for a lot longer than you think. And there's nothing you're going to do about it, and nothing Donald Trump's going to do about it. And really, nobody's fixing this. No one's going to fix this, but we're just gonna have to fucking ride it out. At the end of the day, we're gonna have to ride it the fuck out. So what's going on here? In the meantime, Larry Fink, and I guess maybe this is the reason why he tripled his bodyguards, right? Because the global energy transition will require $4 trillion annually, $4 trillion a year, every fucking year, in order to reach whatever their utopian goal of electricity. So what does it say there? Last year, 1.8 trillion was I can't even fucking read what I wrote, but it's too small. It's too small, and I got fucking boomer eyes. But yeah, $4 trillion a year for a decade. So $40 trillion. Listen, say it with me, kids. $40 trillion, and where do we get it?
We print it digitally. So
we print it digitally. Oh yeah. Yeah, okay. This is why countries like where this is Venezuela. Venezuela looks to crypto for oil sales. Now, Venezuela is not ready to sell oil for Bitcoin. I don't think they understand how Bitcoin works. There is a cryptocurrency called Tether, or TEH, Tether, TETHER, which is a US dollar stable coin. It's whatever. It's a crypto that's pegged exactly 1-to-1 to the dollar. So Venezuela, in order to they think get around sanctions, they're going to use Tether, USD stablecoin to sell their oil, but they don't understand how all this shit is controlled behind the scenes. If they really want to get paid for their oil, they're going to have to go. They're going to have to sell it for Bitcoin, but they don't understand Bitcoin. They understand the dollar and the inability people have to leave a system that they grew up in, to leave what is normal. That's going to cost you a lot, and I don't mean in terms of dollars. It's going to cost you a really lot of fucking pain and suffering, an enormous amount of fucking pain and suffering. Where's the dude from? Where's the dude from? I think this is depends the Argentina guy. I got an Argentina guy. Hopefully this is Argentina guy. I think of clever things to fucking write to describe the video, and then I forget what the fuck I wrote. This is either the Argentina guy or it's the fucking lunatic from Massachusetts.
When I was a kid, back in 1989, my family emigrated from Argentina to Norway. The reason he emigrated was a hyperinflation. So in 1989, it was impossible to live. My dad, comfortably middle class, lost absolutely everything. So we moved to Norway. But looking from the outside in and making regular trips, I just kept seeing the same problem. Why are we losing so many talented people who are supposed to stay in the country and build it up? And I saw the reason was the same goddamn thing. Hyperinflation after hyperinflation. Unfortunately, Argentina's culture is one that is so lost. There's actually honor in being able to steal without being caught. So obviously being a politician is the number one objective for almost everyone. You pretend to be an altruist, you pretend to be defending people's rights to get all the votes, and then you start the process of impoverishing them enough so that they vote you into power for eternity because they're depending on you.
Because they're dependent on you. Javier Milei, our guy, supposedly, is down in Argentina trying to trying to fix the entire thing down there, and whether or not he's going to succeed, I don't know. But a lot of people have seen this, right? When the economy collapses, what are you going to do? You just got to run, you know. And everyone complains about people coming across the border, but they're coming to what they think is a better economy, and I don't think they understand that all this shit's going to fall on. Is going to fall on their fucking on their head. That it's not going to be better at fucking all. And how soon till it all falls apart? I don't know. Things. I've said this before. The U.S. dollar is going to get stronger and stronger and stronger as these smaller, more corrupt governmental structures, as they totally fuck up their economies, and everyone just switches to the dollar will, at least in the short run, get stronger and stronger. But then, you know, the dollar is going to blow up as well. Jeff Booth, brilliant fucking guy, absolutely brilliant guy. Jeff Booth, author of The Price of Tomorrow, makes this point in a brief, but quite cogent, 51-second video of how the United States strip mines the entire fucking world.
There's a whole bunch of people that if you pull up Bitcoin price in Argentina right now, that has that you'd see 55 million per Bitcoin. There's a whole bunch of people that still believe the Argentina peso still has value, and they're measuring in that. So if that's the way that the world works and they don't see it yet, then probably a long time. Because the other thing that influences is every time those currencies devalue to the extent that they do, the US dollar gets stronger, and it extends the life of the US dollar because those people think US dollar is a good thing. And they go and try to save in US dollars. When really what the US in this situation is doing is strip mining those populations from all of their productivity.
And that's what we're doing everywhere, right? A global slave fucking market. You know what I mean? A global gulag where people at the top get every fucking thing they want, and they, you know, as Karl Marx says, you know, whatever, capital flows to where it wants to be. This is the situation we happen to be in at the moment, right? And realistically, the only way to get rid of that snake, the only way to get that snake stop it from strangling the planet, is to stop participating in the economic system that keeps that fucking snake alive. Now, I've criticized, I've criticized Robert Breedlove. I just showed a screenshot where, you know, he talked to the rabbi about the Jewish perspective on Bitcoin, or some retarded nonsense. I didn't watch the video. It's up on his channel if you want to go see it. But I have absolutely no interest in that. And I thought, well, you know what, this fucking guys, they can't get it. Like, and they can't They can't see it. But you could be this close. You could be this fucking close, and that's all you need to be. Like you just need to get close enough. So Breedlove, with again without the ethnic perspective, he's getting 99% of this thing right. He's getting it largely correct. And you know what? He's got the balls to use the G word, which kind of impressed me here. Let's go listen to Robert Breedlove talk about current affairs.
Do you believe in free speech? Well, then guess what? The language of human action is as important as natural language. And if that's not free, well, you can bet your ass natural language will not be free. And we're seeing that today. Propaganda, all funded by fake money. The motivation for that lying is funded by the stealing that's accomplished through the counterfeiting of currency. What's going on in the Middle East right now is a genocide. There's a group of people that have a technological and economic advantage, and they're genociding another group of people. The story that's being told about it is funded through fake money. So if we actually were serious about being civilized and moral and progressing as a species, I don't think it is possible unless you address the money problem. When we're talking about money, it's kind of tricky, but very important. Because right now, I don't think a lot of people see it. It is the economic water in which we swim. The old fish swims by the two young fish and says, "Hey boys, how's the water?" Just kind of look at him weird and they swim on. And then the young fish looks at the other young fish and says, what the hell is water? No one's talking about this. It's so pervasive.
So there is. He's right on top of it. And he did say genocide not once but twice. So good for him. Other than the college kids getting arrested all across this country, getting beaten by the police and getting kicked out of places. It's only Bitcoin who's talking about this, right? Nobody else is fucking talking about this. Your hero Donald Trump is not talking about this. No, everyone's just fucking avoiding this topic like the fucking plague. We're the only ones who understand how to fix it. And you have to try to fix it. You know what I mean? And you may think that you're terribly smart, but you're really not that smart. And in fact, there's a dude when I saw this next video, and I just had a fucking howl because people, this is where the pain and suffering comes in, and how it builds character. People for whom pain and suffering are emblematic of their life. They understand shit that you dismiss. This is 55 seconds of some UFC fighter. I'm not sure who it is, but this is a guy who literally gets kicked in the head for a fucking living, right? Listen to what this guy has to say, and I think it might be an eye opener for some.
I also read that you think interest rates are going higher, and that you want to get paid your MMA bonus in Bitcoin, right?
100%. That's a huge part of the Austrian economic school, right? Supply and demand and scarcity. And I think Bitcoin represents that. The Bitcoin, even though is dropping a little bit, I think is a defense against the tyrant state. Is a defense against inflation too, because eventually it's going to go up because everybody's knowing what Bitcoin is. And the dollar is losing value because the interest rates, because the government keeps printing money,
right,
keep doing handouts, keep doing welfare to the people. They are not trying to control the supply of the money. They are always printing more. So I think that's going to be beneficial to Bitcoin.
Okay, so he says they're giving welfare to the people. They're giving welfare to the corporations and to that bank that lost $10 billion. So that's some Brazilian dude. That's his accent, is a Brazilian accent. And that this kind of the speech, the tempo of his speech, Brazilian. That's the way Brazilians sound, or some Brazilians sound at any rate. But yeah, this guy gets punched in the fucking head for a living, right? He gets kicked in the head for a living, and he's reading about Austrian economics, the money printer, and what drives inflation. And you know what? If he can do it, I'm pretty sure you can do it. You know what I mean? I'm pretty fucking sure you could pull it off. If this guy, with his fucking, with his brain literally battered on a regular basis, if he can figure it out, even you can figure it out. So, but listen, and you know, the people who oppose us are so fucking weak. Here's a screenshot of a fucking story. This was from Fortune magazine 2 years ago. I think it was just about 2 years ago. So the picture is Michael Saylor, right? And you see that the red and yellow around his eyes. It's kind of a way of mocking what's called laser eyes in Bitcoin. You know, it was like a meme. Your eyes glowing like a laser. We're super focused on our goals. But the headline is MicroStrategy founder Michael Saylor once lost $6 billion in a day. By the way, the only fucking billionaire to lose all his wealth, or 90% of his wealth. His big bet on Bitcoin might sink him once and for all. And you can see the story was from 2022. And rather than laser eyes, they make him look like a clown. And you need to understand that Michael Saylor did once lose $6 billion in a fucking day, and he didn't come from the billionaire class, right? And if he could do that and bounce back from it, right? I don't think he really gives a fuck what you say about him or what dumbass fucking gay ass fucking psychological warfare you're going to play in Fortune magazine. He didn't go from where he was, from, you know, Air Force brat to multi-billionaire by responding to fucking that type of external stimuli. He knows exactly what he wants to do, and he fucking does it. And you know what? He's had a lot more success just getting what he wants. Whether you consider that a valuable goal or you don't consider it a valuable goal, that you do. So I showed this guy last week, right? I mentioned this guy last week. Jensen Huang, the Chinese dude with the leather jackets. I've cleaned more toilets than all of you combined. NVIDIA founder Jensen Huang, worth $82 billion. Born in Taiwan, raised in Kentucky, he was a dishwasher at Denny's. He was a dishwasher at Denny's, and he learned to eat pigs in blankets. First time he ate pancakes was in Denny's, and he says he still eats them that way, exactly the same way. He is a graduate of Stanford University. Stanford University still has a good reputation, but at this point in my life, I don't give a fuck what university you went to. I think you're largely a shithead. Have brilliant people come out of big universities? Well, Michael Saylor came out of MIT. Jensen Huang came out of Stanford. But Jensen recently was in Stanford, and he gave like a keynote address or some type of Q&A, and he's talking with the graduating class, I guess the class of 2024 at Stanford University. And this is the title of tonight's stream, Character, Pain, and Suffering. That's what he's talking about here. And I particularly want you to listen to the very last seconds of the video, because there's a very important clue about the future there. So this is Jensen Huang, Taiwanese multi-billionaire, CEO of NVIDIA Corporation, the company that makes the chips that mines Bitcoin, addressing his alma mater and on what it takes to be great in the world of business.
Most of the Stanford graduates have very high expectations. And you deserve to have high expectations because you came from a great school. You were very successful. You're at the top of your class. Obviously, you were able to pay for tuition. And then you're graduating from one of the finest institutions on the planet. You're surrounded by other kids that are just incredible. You naturally have very high expectations. People with very high expectations have very low resilience. And unfortunately, resilience matters in success. I don't know how to teach it to you except for I hope suffering happens to you. Boy, this is going to cause a lot of pain and suffering. And I mean that in a happy way, because you want to train, you want to refine the character of your company. You want greatness out of them. And greatness is not intelligence. Greatness comes from character, and character isn't formed out of smart people. It's formed out of people who suffered. And so that's it. And so if I could wish upon you, I don't know how to do it. For all of you Stanford students, I wish upon you ample doses of pain and suffering.
The very last second, you hear a fucking roar of laughter. This guy's 100% sincere. He's 100% sincere. He used to clean toilets and fucking wash dishes and wait fucking tables in Denny's, right? A fast food pancake joint from the fucking middle of the country. Got into Stanford, started his own company. He is the chip maker's chip maker. They don't manufacture anything. All the stuff's manufactured in Taiwan. He's worth $82 billion. And he's trying to explain how to go from where he was to where he is. And that what matters is character. The pain and suffering that you've experienced, you use that to create greatness, right? But the audience howling with fucking laughter at the end, where he says, I wish upon you ample amounts of pain and suffering. They howl with laughter. It's not a little ripple of kind of ha 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 nervous laughter. They're fucking howling. And the reason why they're howling is because they are the fucking moneyed elite. They are the children of the elites, and pain and suffering is what happens to the lower classes. We don't do pain and suffering. We inflict pain and suffering. You know, it doesn't happen to us. We inflict it onto others. And that should tell you there is no one capable of taking the fucking helm. There is no one capable of taking over. That we are now fucking pedal to the metal, heading for the edge of that fucking cliff. And when we're going to go over it, I don't know. But other than the fact that, like Jeff Booth says, you know, these other foreign currencies are going to collapse, and the U.S. dollar will advance and become the little global currency for everything, not just the reserve currency. And people think, wow, America's unstoppable. Look, everybody uses the dollar. Every country in the world uses the dollar. It can't fail. And as soon as people think that, it's gonna fucking absolutely, it's gonna absolutely fucking blow up. And where are you gonna be? Like, where are you gonna be? What are you gonna have? Are you gonna have a bag of fucking paper receipts issued by a central bank, like the people in Argentina had? And you know, there are enough stories. There are enough times and places in recent history where this has happened, that if you trust the future, your family's future, your children, your grandchildren, to something that's based in the central bank, then you know you're sure as fuck gonna develop a lot of character. You know what I mean? Unnecessarily, but you will develop a lot of character. And then what you do is you're gonna come up with extensively complex bullshit. And to justify what happened, even though you have the ability to change it. Another one of my favorite punching bags, Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson, I don't know who did this, but I fucking love this guy because Jordan Peterson, who is fucking the useful idiot of useful idiots. Not our guy, not a fucking Bitcoiner. Jordan Peterson gets declowned by some dude because you know, quite frankly, this is long fucking overdue. 52 seconds, funny, and worth your time. Check it out.
So in Peter Pan, you gave an interesting theory on the crocodile.
Creatures like us, primates, are instinctively afraid of predatory reptiles. Chimpanzees are afraid of snakes, for example, even if they've never seen one. And so the reptile represents the predator to us, and a crocodile's an emblematic reptile. A crocodile with a clock in his stomach is time. Why is time a predator? Well, because you age and die.
That's true.
And Captain Hook is chased by the crocodile. The crocodile has already got a taste of him. It's taken his hand, and he liked the taste. And so Captain Hook is terrified of death, and that's why he's a tyrant.
Well, I have a personal theory of my own. It's that the crocodile is chasing Captain Hook because Captain Hook is made out of meat.
I fucking love that. All of your complex bullshit comes down to this. If you are made out of meat and something wants to fucking eat you, you better fucking run. You better run, and you better be good at fighting. And you're probably not good at either. But don't overcomplicate it. You can overcomplicate things. Peter Pan is a fucking children's story, right? It's a magical children's story. The meaning isn't all that fucking deep. Oh, the clock in the belly of the crocodile is the fucking, oh, get the fuck out of here. The instinctive fear that mammals have for fucking reptiles. Oh, please. Have you seen fucking people with alligator fucking shoes? You know what I mean? Like, you know, this is Jordan Peterson and the fucking and the masters of fucking bullshit will spin a fucking elaborate story over the simplest fucking principle, right? Predators seek easy fucking prey. The world works on a predator-prey dynamic, whatever that looks like, you know, and that you have to include some element of reality, albeit cloaked with magic for a children's story. It's a fucking children's story, right? Don't read too much into this. It's real simple. Fix the fucking money, fix the fucking world. It's that fucking simple. And if you don't want to do that, good luck. Good luck. Here's this is the fucking America we live in. And I just went through I just had to fucking drive through Washington, DC, because they're doing work on 495 outside of Dulles. So I had my GPS always tells me to go on 495, but whatever. I had a reroute through fucking Washington through the district at 11 o'clock at night, and you know the Washington Monument's fucking lit up like fucking. You know, you can see it for miles and miles around. It's a big dramatic thing, and they light it up the whole way. And you know, I'm driving. You know, I'm kind of glancing over, and I'm going, you know what? It looks impressive as fuck, but I understand what's behind it. You know, that's the symbol of what America is supposed to be. And this video I have now, this next video, 18-second video, this is the reality that you know most people aren't seeing. This poor fucking tourist. That poor little girl, she's probably from fucking Nebraska or fucking Indiana or something. And she's like, our nation's capital, you know, peace, whatever she's doing. And, you know, meanwhile, dirt bike gangs are wheeling or fucking riding on the fucking national lawn or whatever. Like, that's what's really happening. You're looking at, you know, if you look at the distance, everything looks fine. But, you know, if you look at some of the details, you have roving groups of fucking feral dindus, you know, openly defying every fucking civilized fucking every civilized sensibility you can come up with, right? And of course, there will never ever be any consequences for them, unless of course they happen to fucking crash and fucking fall into the fucking water or something like that. Unless they manage to kill each other, in which case we will have to all pretend to cry for them. But yeah, underneath the surface, there's a lot of moving parts, and they're not good. They're really not fucking good. And if you really think I didn't get the fucking screenshots, but I can't remember the name of the fucking. Cannot remember for the life of me the fucking name of the church. There's a church in Spain, right? Yeah, I think it's in Madrid, but don't hold me to that. There's a church in Spain that took 800 years to build. And you say, what? What do you mean? It's 800 years old. No, it's not 800 years old. It took 800 years to build. And you say, well, why is that? You know, and then I would tell you a complex story of how the Spanish stopped believing in Jesus and abandoned their religion, and they abandoned the construction project, and they wandered off into, I could make up a bullshit story, but here's the real story. The stonecutters and the stonemasons, there was no money to pay them. And so the construction of the church stopped. And it didn't continue. You know, it stopped and started, stopped and started, stopped and started. And finally, 800 years after the construction began, the church was finished. It's not because the Spanish stopped believing in Jesus. They believe in Jesus just fine. But Jesus this and Jesus that, but motherfucker, I gotta listen. I cut stone for a living. I'm an architect, or I'm a fucking stonemason or whatever, and I got a wife and kids to fucking feed. And if you ain't coming up with the fucking money, I'm gonna go over there and build that farmer's fucking wall, because at least I can get eggs from him or whatever. The idea that just because God said so, you have to build this fucking thing doesn't work in the real world. It just does, and it never did. There's stuff like that in the classical era where temples were started and stopped, and people said, "Oh, that's right before Christianity took over. They stopped believing in Zeus." No, they still believed in Zeus. They just ran out of fucking money, you know. And I think people don't understand the price of fucking labor. You know, when I show these videos of the fucking oil drill guys or the fucking power line bros, you have no idea how much that shit costs. I think the price of labor, when the price discovery of labor, of the ability to do really hard shit that takes a lot of skill and is dangerous, I think when you find out what that is, and then people are going to find out what that is. Larry Fink and his $4 trillion a year for the next decade to build out the nuclear fucking power plants all across America so we can get rid of cars that run on gasoline, and we can only have electric cars. They can tell where you are, when you are, how much carbon you're using. They can shut your car off, make your car turn around and go back, make it not start if you use it too much. What, like that fantasy, right, that they have, that 21st century, super micromanaged communism that they imagine can be fucking built, requires a workforce that, one, does not exist. Two, they're not willing to fucking invest in to fucking create. And three, guarantees that they're going to fuck up. It just guarantees that they're going to fail. How soon that's going to happen? Again, I can't put a fucking a timeline on that, but that is absolutely going to fail. And then who's going to be around to pick up the pieces and build something from it? That's the question. When no one accepts paper receipts or paper promises from a central bank anymore, or they don't accept whatever the US dollar is called in the future, where are you going to be? Where are you going to be, and where are your children and your grandchildren going to be, right? And I don't know where that is, right? I don't know where that is, but I will continue to say this until I am blue in the face. Putting your faith in an economic system designed by parasites for parasites is just a fucking recipe for misery. So don't be miserable. Don't do that. You know what I mean? Make a different choice. I know it's uncomfortable. I know it's weird. It's you don't see the water you're swimming, right? But you are definitely swimming in some fucking water that's going to get worse and worse and worse. What is this last fucking video? I think this is, did I show this already or no? Can't even fucking remember. I got one more video. Let me click on it and see what the fuck it is. Because again, I miss fucking, no wait, that's the Argentina, right? Yeah, that was the Argentina. That was the Argentina guy. I don't think there's anything else, is there? No, there's not. There's really nothing else. There's nothing else video-wise. Is there anything else I have? Well, our friends, the guys who make the cuckoo clocks, those guys, Switzerland wants in on Bitcoin. Probably nothing, as they say. Probably nothing. This is what Switzerland is. This is in fact a photographic image that shows you the Swiss Bitcoin movement. It's literally like a giant, like a head of a clock, all kinds of stuff in there and whatever. And whatever. And I don't know. That's about it, I guess. That's about it. I guess we're at 50 minutes. Had a pretty decent day off. Actually, I thought I went out on the boomer cycle today with the intention of going out all day. But then the weather said it was going to rain, and so I cut it short, and then it didn't rain. So, but whatever. I got a bunch of stuff done. It's all going well. It's going well for us. Hopefully, you can see the importance of your suffering, and that you need to use your suffering to fail quickly, right? And fail quickly and inexpensively, and go on to the next fucking thing, right? And that's another Jensen Huang thing. He tells everyone in his company, you're allowed to fail, but you have to fail quickly and inexpensively, and that's something the government can't do. So they're going to try and knock this guy off. Microsoft, all these companies are going to try and out chip make the guy who was a fucking a dishwasher at Denny's, and it's going to be hilarious to watch them fucking lose. It's going to be hilarious to watch them lose, but in the meantime, going to be a lot of pain and suffering, and life getting worse and worse for Americans who really don't deserve it. They really do not deserve what's coming. So try and protect yourself and those you care about by opting out and doing something different. And that way, when it comes time to rise again, when it is time to rise like a golden phoenix, what the fuck are you even talking about at this point, James? But when it's time for America 2.0, whether you know it or not, the decisions you make today in terms of getting rid of your paper dollars in favor of something that cannot be confiscated or inflated away, that may have a lot more value 10, 15, 20 years from now than you can imagine, because I don't think anybody when they saw Jensen Huang washing dishes in the Denny said, yeah, someday that guy's going to be worth $82 billion. I don't think you would have gotten that. You'd have just said, yeah, another chink dishwasher. So it isn't when you're trapped into really just being a normie, a slightly pissed off normie, it's hard to see the bigger picture. But I try, I do what I can from where I am to get people to fucking see that. But yeah, so Robert Breedlove went up like half a point in my mind for actually using the word genocide. So good for him. And again, as long as he keeps doing what he does, and if he can influence others to fight against this shit, and the way to fight legally and peacefully and legally, is to just opt out, and join another economic system, and then build from there. That's all you can do. Anyway, to Virgil Doc Purple Heart, to the lurkers, to the people who will come in the coming week and show up to listen to me, make sure to smash up the like button. Because if you don't smash up the like button, I don't know, I don't get feedback. And then I might lose my motivation. That's a joke. That's not going to happen, because I am at war peacefully and legally with the US dollar. And it is my intention to fucking win. And I will win. Anyway, guys, I will talk to you guys again next week. Thanks for stopping by.